Every night at exactly 2:17 a.m., the clock rang. Not loudly, not violently, just a single dull chime. Dong. It was soft enough that most people would just sleep through it. But I never did. I always woke up at the exact moment the sound ended. Not before, not after. Always precisely after. As if that chime existed only for me, and for me alone. The clock sat on the wall directly across from my bed. It was old, wooden, inherited from someone I couldn't even remember. Its hands were thin and black, and the glass covering the face was slightly warped. Sometimes, when the light hit it at just the right angle, the numbers looked like they were melting, as if time itself had softened and was losing its shape. I tried getting rid of it once. Just once, I took it down from the wall, carried it into the hallway, and left it propped up beside the front door. I thought that would be the end of it. But that night, at 2:17 a.m., the chime rang again. Dong, from inside my room. I opened my eyes, and there it was. The clock was hanging on the wall, exactly where it had always been. I never tried moving it again after that. During the day, it was perfectly normal. It ticked gently, a sound that was almost comforting, a steady rhythm in the quiet of my apartment. But sometimes, when I was sitting silently, just reading or thinking, I'd notice something strange. The second hand would hesitate, just for a fraction of a moment, right near the number 2. It would stop and then jump forward like it was skipping a breath. I learned to avoid looking at it for too long, because the longer I watched, the more certain I became that the hesitation was lasting longer than just a second. It felt like time was snagging on something. Then the dreams began. They started slowly, like distant weather you see on the horizon. At first, they were just fragments. A dark room, no windows, no sound. There was a single wooden chair facing away from me. Someone was sitting in it, completely still. I could never see their face because the dream always ended before I could. It just cut out, leaving me awake in the dark. Weeks passed, the dreams kept coming back, and they got closer each time. The chair would be turned slightly more towards me with each passing night, revealing a little more of the person sitting in it. First a shoulder, then an arm, then a hand resting limply in their lap. The fingers were thin, the skin was pale, motionless. One night I dreamed I was in the room again. This time the chair was facing me completely, but it was empty. I woke up immediately. My heart was steady. Almost too steady. It felt like the fear had already come and gone, leaving just this strange cold calm behind. After that night, the silences in my apartment grew heavier. This wasn't just ordinary quiet, it felt occupied. Sometimes I would hear a faint ticking sound even when I knew the clock had stopped. Sometimes I'd hear breathing when I was holding my own breath, listening. And sometimes I would get this unshakable feeling that I was being watched, even in empty rooms with nowhere for anyone to hide. One evening, the power went out. No warning, no sound of a transformer blowing, just sudden, total darkness that filled the apartment. It was heavy, suffocating, and in that blackness, the ticking continued. Slow, precise, unmistakable. But it wasn't coming from the wall. It was coming from somewhere lower, closer, right behind me. I didn't turn around. I couldn't, because some deep part of me knew that turning round would mean seeing, and seeing would mean remembering. The lights flickered back on after just a few seconds. Everything looked normal. Everything felt safe. Except for one thing. The clock on the wall showed 2:17, even though I knew it was only 9:42 p.m. As I watched, the hands started moving backward, minute by minute, until the correct time was displayed again. I didn't sleep at all that night. The dreams got worse. Now, the dark room had details. The walls were stained unevenly. The floor was covered in scratches. The air was thick and smelled strange. The chair was always there, always empty, waiting. But something else had appeared in the room. A clock standing on a small table. Its hands were frozen at 2:17. One night, the dream didn't end. I wasn't just watching anymore. I was there, standing inside the room. The air smelled like old metal, a bitter, coppery scent. The chair waited, facing me. The clock on the table ticked slowly, even though its hands weren't moving at all. And then a memory slipped through, like a crack in a dam. Flashes, broken pieces. Arguments, sharp voices echoing in tight spaces. You never listen. I told you already. You promised. They were just words without faces, faces without names. Another fragment surfaced, the same room, but this time it was real, not a dream. A woman was standing near the chair, her back turned to me. She was speaking quietly, her voice tired. My own hands were shaking. There was something heavy in them, something metal and cold, a hammer. The fragment ended, and I woke up drenched in sweat, my hands aching. The next night, more of the memory came back. The woman was turning round slowly. Her eyes were soft, trusting. "You'll calm down," she said. She took a step closer to me. I took a step back. The clock on the wall was ticking louder now, faster, too fast. "You always get like this," she said. Her hand reached out toward me, gentle, careful. She was trying to help, trying to soothe me, trying to stop something that was already moving. The hammer rising, the impact, a dull, sickening sound. The clock stopping, 2:17, silence. The fragment shattered. I woke up with my hands clenched into tight fists, my nails digging into my palms. I just sat there in the darkness, not denying it, not accepting it, just waiting. The final dream came 3 nights later. There was no hallway this time, no broken fragments, no distance. It was just the room, whole, complete. And the chair was occupied now. The woman was sitting upright in it. Her head was tilted slightly to the side. Her eyes were open but empty. The clock beside her was still frozen. 2:17. You forgot, she said softly, her mouth barely moving. You needed to, and the words felt true. Terribly, horribly true. I didn't mean to, I heard myself say. You were angry. I lost control, you continued, and then the memory completed itself. It wasn't just one strike. It was many. The fear had turned into action. The action had turned into silence. I remembered cleaning, waiting, thinking, and then resetting the clock, trying to undo the moment, trying to rewind time itself to 16 to 15. As if moving the hands backward could erase what I had done moving forward. It didn't work. So I buried the memory instead, deep, carefully, thoroughly, until only the clock remained, keeping time for something I refused to know. I stood there in the dream, looking at her, seeing everything clearly. I killed you. The clock ticked once, a single sharp sound, though the hands did not move. When I woke up, it was 2:17. The chime sounded soft, final. Dong. I didn't move. I didn't look away from the clock. I didn't close my eyes. It continued ticking, steady, endless. Morning would come, life would continue, nothing would change. Except now, I knew why the clock rang. It wasn't to haunt me. It wasn't to punish me. It was to remind me of the moment that time stopped for someone else. Thanks for watching. Follow for more stories that explore the shadows of the mind.